Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to create a form using Bootstrap and React. And we are going to be creating a login form because moving forward I'm going to show you how to do form validation. So let's get started. So first we're going to create the form using Bootstrap, and if you have not created a form, it's really simple. And I've already used a class, okay, and what this is just doing is adding this background, okay, and this is the CSS for that. This is just a link to whatever image you want to use as a background image. Okay, so I'm going to use a few predefined things in Bootstrap to make this form. For example, I'm gonna add a card, okay, and then inside of this I'm gonna add a name with card body. Now what this does is add padding for your card, and for now, yeah, I'm also gonna add a, let's say, H1 for now, or actually, you know what, I'm just gonna add a paragraph for now, and I'm just gonna say something simple like login, okay, just to show you the card. Okay, so as you can see, our card has loaded, but obviously this is not what we want, you know, like a big card like this. We don't want that. So what I'm gonna do is, you can create your own class. I think it's better to just create the class right now. Login dash form, I'm just gonna call it that, login form. Actually, you know what, we don't really need this. Now that I think about it, we don't need this. We can just use Bootstrap classes. I need to add row first, and then I'm gonna say column dash, I'm gonna make this 3. I think that should be enough. Okay, yes, I think that's fine. Okay, and I will actually add a height to this. Okay, oh, what did I, yeah, I can do this now. Just gonna comment this one out, and I'm gonna say max height, and I will add, let's say maximum height will be about 50% of the screen, I guess. Let's just check that out first. Oh, and I need to add this name here. Go. Let's see. Did not apply. Oh, sorry. I did not need to. This. Okay. Yeah, it's taking like 50% of the height. Okay, that's good. So, and the reason why I'm using max height is because I don't want it to go any further than that. But now that we have added that, now we can use more predefined Bootstrap classes. I'm going to use the margins, and I'm going to use that because I want this form that we are going to create to be in the center, right? But I don't just want it to position it in the center. I want to make sure that it automatically, as I would change the screen size, that it stick to the center of the screen, right? So to make it automatically stay there, I'm gonna add m-auto, and you're going to see why. Here we go. The reason why this isn't taking more space is because I have not added any kind of elements inside of this yet. So you'll see what I mean. Let's say I was to duplicate this a few times, right? I am going to see that like this, it's taken the maximum height that I set, but it's not going beyond that. But it's also automatically aligning to the center. And to check that out, here I'm going to show you something. I'm gonna add this to the side. Okay, let me just take that right, like this. As you can see, it's staying in the center, right? And I'm going to close this. Oh, it's because I ended up adding a row. That's why it's doing this. I'll show you what just ended up happening here. What I should have done is create a div class name of row instead of making this the row. Okay, and this will solve the problem if you end up facing it like me. Okay. Sorry. Okay, and now there we go. There we go. For this, I can just actually no. We should actually add it here. H-100, and there we go. Now it is perfectly centered. Now you just need to start creating the form, which you need, I would say, the form element. Okay, and the reason why we're using this is because when we press the button, it's going to submit the form, and there's a whole other thing you need to do to stop the form from submitting, and it's a whole process, but I'll explain in detail in another video. But this is more of the design video to add the elements and all of that. So I will go in depth of how to use a form to submit data later on, but I'm going to create the form because this is a form creating video. To now I'm going to add the input elements, but before we add the input elements, I'm going to make this class and give it row. And now the reason why I've done this is so that I can add class name and then go col-12 because I want it to take the whole space. And you'll see later on why I'm doing it like this. But for now, col-12. And then you need to add two things in a form. One is a label. And the reason you add a label is to tell the form that this is the name that you are giving this input field. So label, okay, and in it I'm gonna say, let's say, email. Okay, I'm gonna do it like this, email. And the other one, oh wait, did I misspell this? I think it's Label. Yeah, it was Label, sorry. I don't know why I made that mistake. Okay, so the next thing you need to add is the input, and you do not add a closing tag. You just, it's a self-closing tag basically. You're gonna add a few things in this. One is going to be type, and you need to add this for every input field. The type basically tells your document what type of element this is. Is this a password? Is this an email? Is this just plain text? Whatever it ends up being, there are many different types out there. There's one for date and color and so on and so forth. But the most you end up using with forms are three: text, password, and email. You can use the others, but that depends on what type of form you're creating. So type is equal to, and since this is an email, I'm going to use email. Okay, and you can, if you want, or your form requires it, your input field requires it, you can add a placeholder. So a value is something you also can add. I'm just going to keep it empty because there is nothing I want to put in this form. I want to add the data myself. So I'm keeping it like this. And now what you can do is copy and paste this in and just change this to, let's say, password, and this to password, and these two are now two fields for the login. Okay, I'm gonna save this. As you can see, we have an email and password field, but this is not styled. Why isn't the styling working? Because we have not added the classes that are required for this. So you need to add two classes. One is for the label and one is for the input. You just go class name, and the class for the label is just simple form dash label, and for the input, class name is form dash control. And I'm just going to show you with this one, and there you go. As you can see, the padding and the alignment and everything else has been added. And all you need to do is copy, paste this in, just like this. Okay, save this. As you can see, this is being added. And now for this, I'm just gonna make it really simple as name, and I'm just gonna make it h3. Okay, and I'm gonna say center to make this text centered. Okay, see? And if you want, you can add a little bit of a margin at the bottom, which is simple: M for margin, B for bottom, and then you can choose from 1 to 5. I think 3 is enough. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 4. Okay, yeah, 4 is good. And then at the bottom is the button. For now, I'm gonna say submit, and I'm gonna save this. And to style this, it's really simple. Button styling is really simple in this. Just say class name and then go btn, and then go btn dash. You can choose whichever one you want. There are predefined like danger, dark, light, link, but you can also add your own styling. I'm just going to choose something simple. I'm going to go with dark, and there you go. We have a super simple login form. And also I need to add some margin at the top. So MT margin top, and then dash, and I'm gonna say 4. As you can see, we have some margin at the top now, and I feel like we need to add a little bit more here. Okay, and for that, what you can do, since we are using columns, right, what you can do is go G Y, okay, and then you can go, I want 4. And as you can see, automatically, if you had like multiple elements, right, you would have to do one by one. But using this is for this GUI is for gutter. It's a whole other thing. Gutters inside of Bootstrap. It's a whole other thing that needs explanation. But simply put, what a gutter does is automatically it's adding the spacing in between your elements that are column elements, that are column classes. It's automatically adding the distance, the gaps between columns. Now, let's say this was a sign up form, right? Sign up, right? Let's say this was a sign up form. Now, for a sign up form, I might need, like, let's say I would need a first name and a last name, right? But the way a first name and a last name would be shown in a form would be side by side, right? But right now we have up and down, right? One is up and one is down, right? But we want like there's to be a split in the middle for two forms. So that is very simple. And I'm just going to change one of these. I'm going to say first name, and the type now is not going to be an email, it's not going to be password, it's going to be simple plain text. So I'm going to say text, and I'm going to change this later on. I'm just going to copy this for now. I'm going to paste it down here. I'm going to say last, and I'm going to save this. And now you can see that it's up and down, right? There are two elements here. So I don't want that. I want them to be side by side, right? So I'm going to change this to be 6, and this to also be 6. I'm going to save that. Now you can see them being side by side. See? Now what is happening here is I'm telling it that this is a row. Inside of it, I want columns. The columns are going to have a 6 column width, and the ones at the bottom is going to be 12 column width. So this is taking, there are a total of 12 columns, and the number you add is from 1 to 12. So by adding 6, I'm telling it I want to take half the space of this row. So I've done that, and this is because I've added a max height, and I'm just going to change that. I'm just going to remove it for now. Okay, you can just remove this. I just added that to show you something, but now I don't need it. So this, as you can see, has it's automatically staying in the center. We've added two separate side-by-side input elements and two below, and we've also added spacing in between using this GY. And the reason we're doing Y is so that it's up and down. Any spacing that is required is to be up and down. If I change this to an X, any elements that are side by side, like the first name and last name, they will be changed. And if I just use simple G, then it's gonna affect both the X and the Y. So that's how gutters work. And you can do this this goes from 1 to 5, and it would add that much spacing in between. For example, let's say this is too much spacing, right? I want the X, because remember Y is up and down, X is left to right. So let's say I want any spacing, gutter spacing that I have, to be less than what it is right now, what is the default, and I only want the one that is from left to right, any elements that are going left to right, to be affected, right? So I'm going to go G, X for left and right, and then I'm going to choose, I'm going to say 2 for now, because I just want it to lessen a little bit. And as you can see, this is now really close. Now that I think about it, I'm gonna go with 3 here. Yeah, that's better. This is how a form is created in Bootstrap. If you want a video of me creating a form using something like Tailwind CSS, you can just tell me in the comment section below. And if I get, like, let's say 30 people asking me something like, oh, we want a Tailwind CSS version of a login or a sign up form, I will create that. So I really hope you like this tutorial. Moving forward, I'm going to show you how to do the validation, and the validation is not that complicated. So I really hope you like this tutorial. Like and subscribe for more tutorials like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.